Good day. Thank you for tuning into this general election candidate forum for County Clerk. The forum is presented by the League of Women Voters of Thurston County and TCTV. The League is a nonprofit, nonpartisan political organization that encourages the informed and active participation of citizens in their government. The League registers new voters, studies issues, and advocates for its positions with the legislature. Despite its name, the League is open to both men and women of voting age. My name is Melissa Minharis from the League, and I'll be moderating this forum. Today we'll be hearing from the candidates for Thurston County Clerk. They are Linda Enloe and Yvonne L. Pettis. For this forum, candidates will have 2 minutes for an opening statement. Then I'll ask them questions in alternating order. The person first asked the first question will have 2 minutes for a response, followed by 1 minute from the other candidate. There will be 1 minute for closing statements at the end. We'll begin with opening statements from the candidates, and today we'll start with Linda Enloe. Welcome. And Ms. Enloe, again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Linda Enloe, and I want to be your next Thurston County Clerk. I'm running because I feel passionately about the clerk's office providing the best possible service to the courts and to the public. I believe I'm qualified because I served as Chief Deputy Clerk for over 21 years, having been groomed to run for County Clerk by the incumbent for that whole time. As Chief Deputy Clerk, some of my accomplishments were to preserve paper documents dating back to 1847. This allowed the public access to those documents. I worked collaboratively with the Superior Court judges, gaining a good working relationship with the court and all other departments. As elected County Clerk, my top priorities are to ensure that victims of domestic violence are provided with assistance and community resources, to save taxpayers money and time by making Thurston County a model court for the new statewide case management system being developed, and to assure a productive and quality work environment for the employees, and to strengthen working relationships with the Superior Court judges and county departments. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll hear from Yvonne Pettis. Ms. Pettis.
Thank you. I'm Yvonne Pettis. I'm currently the Chief Deputy Clerk in the Clerk's Office. I have 31 years of court experience. As you may know, the County Clerk is the Clerk of the Superior Court, so I believe this court experience is very important. I have 4 priorities as the County Clerk. Maintaining accessibility of court records, continuing collaborating with other county departments, and expanding domestic violence services, and increasing accountability for the clerk's office. As far as accessibility, I've been working with other departments and attorneys on accessibility of our court records since we've become paperless in the last year and a half, and it's very important to have that access to the court records since they are now all electronic. Collaborative nature as far as managing, this has gained me the support of other independently elected Thurston County officials. I'm working on expanding our domestic violence services throughout the county, and during my time as the Chief Deputy Clerk, I have reduced the budget by 8.5% while maintaining the current jobs, customer service, and our hours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we'll move to the questions. And the first question will go to you first, Ms. Enloe. Would you please describe your personal strengths or experiences that you think will help you be successful as county clerk should you be elected?
I believe my personal strengths would be working with people in a collaborative manner. I my fondest memories of being Chief Deputy Clerk were my ability to work with all of those departments and agencies on very important projects and come to a good conclusion in terms of meeting both sides and needs.
Right. Thank you. So, Ms. Pettis, the same question to you. Are there particular personal strengths you have or experiences that you think would make you very successful should you be elected to this position?
Certainly. I have the experience from my prior working experience with the Administrative Office of the Courts and also as the Court Administrator of Tacoma Municipal Court, working with the legislature on pieces of legislation that impact the courts, so I've testified in front of the legislature, I've testified in front of the Tacoma City Council, the Thurston County Board of Commissioners on increasing some fees that we were looking at last budget session, and just my collaborative work relationship with other county departments.
Great. Thank you very much. So Ms. Pettis, we'll stay with you for the moment. In your view, what are the 3 critical aspects of the work that the clerk's office does, and why do you think those are the most important?
One of the constitutional requirements or duties of the clerk is to preserve the court records. So we have been working extremely hard to ensure that all of the records are preserved, that we have imaged all of the records. We run audits every month to make sure that all of the records that we received in the prior months are actually in our imaging system before we destroy those records. I think maintaining the finances, the county clerk is the financial manager for the Superior Court, so we have been working on changing our process for collecting legal financial obligations from criminal defendants so that they're able to pay those restitution to victims. And third is the customer service aspect. It's very important for our staff to understand that the customer is their priority, and we've been focusing on keeping that customer service environment.
Thank you very much. Ms. Enloe, your views on the 3 critical aspects of the work that the county clerk does.
Well, also, as Yvonne stated, preserving the record is one of the most important aspects of and duties of the county clerk. Those documents need to be available for the court when they're reviewing the files, so it's of utmost importance that they be there at the time that they go to a court hearing. Also, ensuring that the public is served, having access to those documents so that they can review files online or in the office. Another important factor is the employees. I want to make sure that the employees are able to do their jobs properly and have the tools that they need to do so.
Thank you. I see. So, Ms. Enloe, what would you do differently were you to be elected? What would you do differently in this position than how the job has been conducted in the past, if anything?
Well, the thing that I can think of the most right now is the case-wide case management system that's being developed for the state, for all, actually 37 Superior Courts and clerk's offices in the state. I want to ensure that the document management system piece of that system is implemented in Thurston County. I want to ensure that Thurston County is a model court for the state to show the other courts in the state that the system can be successful, and by doing so, in implementing the DMS portion of that system, it will save Thurston County a lot of money.
So can I ask just a brief follow-up? The CMS is the case management system.
Yes.
DMS is the document management
Correct.
system, and when you're referring to that, you're talking about the management of the electronic or digital record?
For the document management
For the
system,
documents.
yes.
All right, thank you.
And that is a portion of the case,
Management system.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Ms. Pettis, what would you do differently, if anything, from your predecessor?
I think the focus of the office on serving the community, working with community leaders on their priorities. For example, recently I met with the Thurston County Legal Services providers regarding the Housing Justice Project and worked with them on a way to have access to the electronic records. They previously were used to coming into the office and checking out a case file. That's not available anymore since we don't have case files. So we worked with them on a way to access those electronic records.
Thank you very much. As we all are aware, times continue to be tight, and budget times continue to be tight, and given that there may be additional cuts made to the clerk's budget, and we're going to start with you, Ms. Pettis, how would you prioritize those potential cuts to the clerk's budget?
So prioritizing the cuts for 2015, the Board of County Commissioners told us that we needed to keep our budget bottom line the same as 2014 while increasing the employees received or will receive a cost of living adjustment, and the medical costs were increasing. So the way we managed that for our 2015 budget was to leave 2 positions vacant, and we're hoping that that is going to survive the commissioner's budget. Priority is to maintain customer service and to ensure that we have a clerk in each courtroom. Court cannot start until there's a clerk present, and so ensuring that the courtrooms are covered and our customers, which include the judges, the public, attorneys, that would be a main priority.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Enloe, again, what would you do given foreseeable cuts to the budget?
Well, not being there right now and not knowing everything, although I do know that the clerk is to absorb the cost of living and step increases for 2015 within their budget. I know that there will be a savings bringing in this document management system to the county that will also enable other uses of that money to other departments, which I believe is the #1 priority for me at this time.
So where would you put that savings?
Well, that would go back into the county general fund for the commissioners to decide.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. We'll stay with you, Ms. Enloe, for the moment. And again, on the budget theme, if you could lobby for an increased budget for the clerk's office, for what would you make a case, and why?
Wow, that's a hard one. I would, I don't know that I have an answer to that. I would look at everything that is brought in. The clerk does bring in a fair amount of revenue, and at one point was almost self-sufficient. Looking at ways to save money was always at the top of our list in the clerk's office. But I would evaluate all the needs that the clerk has and see where an increase in budget would be needed at that time.
All right.
Thank you.
Ms. Pettis, if you could lobby for an increased budget, what would you make a case for?
So I would make a case for bringing back the 2 positions that we've lost. It's very difficult on Fridays especially to cover all the courtrooms, and those 2 positions would ease that stress on the staff. Then I would look at areas where we could improve customer service, provide additional services to the public. One of the things I would be interested in working with the legislature on providing a facilitator program for individuals who are going through guardianship or probate matters, so that we could help them do the paperwork. Sometimes it's very stressful for a parent of a developmentally disabled adult to complete the required paperwork, the required annual reportings, and to have someone to help them, guide them through that would be helpful.
Thank you very much. So we're coming to our last question. And Ms. Pettis, the League would like to hear from you about what you think are the 3 most important things a voter should look for in a candidate for a county clerk.
I think integrity, knowledge of the job, leadership experience, and generally the support that the person has from people who understand what it takes to do the job. I've been supported, lucky to have the support of over 20 county clerks throughout the state. They understand what it is to do that job, and they've supported me in my candidacy. So I think those are important qualities.
For our more general public that maybe doesn't have the same working knowledge of the court, could you be a little bit more concrete for us so we understand what those skills are?
Sure. The clerk is the clerk of the Superior Court. They need to have understanding of court procedures, court rules, legislation. They need to be involved in not necessarily the daily running of the office, but looking outward and taking a leadership, visionary role in working with state legislation, with the other county elected officials, with the Board of Commissioners, and with the clerks around the state, doing education programs, those kinds of things.
Great. Thank you very much. Sure. That's helpful. And Ms. Enloe, also to you, what do you think are the 3 most important things a voter should look for in a candidate for county clerk, and as specifically as you can be? I think that's helpful to our listeners and viewers.
Well, first off, I believe with my 21 years experience as Chief Deputy, that has prepared me for this position. I think that's probably my number 1. I have worked at the state level on committees, on statewide issues for pretty much the whole time I was served as Chief Deputy Clerk. I think it's important that that information and that knowledge has helped me in running the office. I also was very involved in the office in learning all positions to ensure that I could adequately train and support the staff in doing those jobs. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we've come to the time for our closing statements, and each of our candidates will have 1 minute for a closing statement. And I believe we started with Ms. Enloe before, so we will start with Ms. Pettis. Now, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you to the League of Women Voters and to TCTV for providing this forum for candidates. I'm Yvonne Pettis. I'm running for Thurston County Clerk. I would appreciate your vote. I have great personal integrity, never been fired from a job. I've never had any performance issues at a job. I have the support of 3 retired Supreme Court justices, the county clerks from around the state, and overwhelming majority of the staff are supporting me, and I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Ms. Enloe.
Thank you to the League of Women Voters for this wonderful event. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to the citizens of Thurston County. I just want to close in saying that I'm endorsed by over 20 local and state elected officials, retired elected officials, retired Superior Court judges at Thurston County, and most recently by a former Thurston County Sheriff Gary Edwards and former Secretary of State Sam Reed. I am very proud to have all of my endorsed supporters and would appreciate your looking further into my qualifications, and my website is lindaenloe.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Pettis, Ms. Enloe, thank you so much for joining us today. That brings us to the end of our forum. We'd like to thank the candidates and thank you, TCTV and the League of Women Voters, for making this forum possible. Viewers out there, please remember to do your homework, find out what you need to about your candidates, and make sure you vote in the general election this year on November 4th. These are our candidates for Thurston County Clerk, Yvonne Pettis, Linda Enloe. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. Goodbye.